it's Molly from the Feed, and today I am going to show you how to blind bake a pie crust. So let's talk about the crust. It's a pretty basic pie crust. It is savory, so we're not putting any sugar. So the first thing we're going to do is add some all-purpose flour, some salt. We are actually adding some chopped ramp tops into this. Ramps are wild leeks. They're an allium, so they're like pretty unctuous. Like actually the whole kitchen stinks right now, but in a very good way. I would say it's like a scallion and a leek and a little bit of garlic all combined. It's really, really good. Okay, so we have those in our flour. The butter we froze and then grated on a box grater just so that it's very easy to combine into our pie crust and there's no risk of overworking it. You want all of the butter to be coated with flour, but you don't want to work it so much that you don't have any texture. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. This is sort of the texture you're going for. It's a 1/3 cup of cold buttermilk. I am going to drizzle in a little bit. So I'm going to sort of incorporate that. I don't like to dump it all in because then you end up with undressed flour mixture at the bottom of the bowl. So I like to add it a little bit at a time. You could also use ice water here. You could use a mix of ice water and vodka. So this is looking really great. It's nicely hydrated. It has a little bit of give to it, so we know it's gonna be easy to roll out. So we're gonna pop this in the fridge for about 30 minutes to let the gluten relax, and then we will be able to roll it out. Okay, so I rolled out our pie crust and I set it in our pan, crimped the edges. I'm just going to dock the bottom. So docking is just going to allow steam to escape so you don't get those big bubbly air pockets. Even want to do the sides. So blind baking is essentially par baking a pie crust. In this case, we're par baking. If you were doing like a cream pie, chocolate cream pie, coconut cream pie, you actually blind bake it all the way through because you don't cook your filling. But since we are making a quiche, we are just going to blind bake this until it starts to turn golden brown, because my one issue with quiche is nobody wants a soggy bottom. We need to use pie weights, metal balls. At home, I actually use pennies, because what else are you gonna use them for? That are clean and they don't touch the dough, so it's totally fine. Or you could also use like dried beans, you could use dried grains. Basically, you just want something with some weight to it so that the crust doesn't have a chance to puff up too much. Okay, so you just crumple your parchment and you're gonna stick it into the pie. And you want the weight to be evenly distributed. This is going to go into a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Then I am going to take this all out. It's gonna go back in for 15 minutes. And then the last step is we are going to brush the entire thing with egg wash, and it's gonna go in for 5 minutes, and that is going to create this beautiful seal so that we have a crispy bottom quiche. So here is our blind baked pie crust. You can see can you hear that, Haley? It's nice and firm. This is not going to be soggy at all. You'll see that the edges definitely got a little bit more brown than the middle. That's totally fine. You can always just cover them with tin foil if they are browning too quickly once you put this back in to bake. So this is Gruyere cheese. So a great tip to preserve your nice crisp bottom is to add your cheese to the bottom of the crust. It's just another layer of protection. And then this is Parmesan cheese. For the filling, we have some asparagus, pancetta, the ramp bottoms, and peas. And of course, our ramp tops. These things only come once a year, so you really got to use the whole thing. They are so good. And for our quiche filling, we whisk together our favorite Hanson Brook Farm pasture-raised eggs with some milk and creme fraiche. And you're just gonna pour it right on top. The reason that you want to add the filling first is that so it's nice and evenly distributed. A little bit more cheese right on top. We baked our quiche for about 45 minutes at 400 degrees. You want to take it out when it has a little bit of a wobble still. It's not going to be completely set, but as it cools, it will set up completely. So I hope you guys all make this recipe, and thank you so much for watching.